Good morning, dear children. Today we are going to start a new chapter, kites. In this chapter, you will learn about kites. After how many years kite flying was started, and who brought this first, how it came into India. Okay, like this, all the things we'll learn from this. And first, in the ancient times, what was kite used for? So let's start the chapter. A kite is carried up high by the wind, tugging at the string. It pulls upwards, dipping and swaying. The writer is telling us about the kite, that how the kites are carried up high in the sky, how they flew high in the sky. A string is tied to it, and the string pulls it upwards, dipping and swaying, moving here and there, up and down. Sometimes it comes down, sometimes it goes up, and it moves here and there. And by doing these all activities, the kite moves high in the sky. The string unwinds. The kite climbs higher and higher into the blue. The string unwinds. With the help of string, it moves high in the sky. The kite climbs higher and higher into the blue, and with the help of the string, it moves higher and higher into the blue sky. Its colorful shape looks beautiful against the sky. Flying a kite is a fun way to spend a bright day, and the colorful shape of the kite looks very beautiful when it flies in the sky. Flying a kite is a fun way to spend a bright day, and most of the people on holidays, they love to flying kite. I know you also love to fly kite. Most of the children, they fly kite on holidays. So at the time of evening, when we move on the roof of our house, we can see many people and children enjoying flying kite. I hope not. I'm sure you also all love to fly kites. So it's very entertaining game that pleases us all, that pleases children also, and we can pass our time very happily with entertainment. So in the next passage we'll read how kite flying started. Who started it first? People started flying kites over 2000 years ago. The Chinese were the first to fly kites. Several centuries ago, Chinese travelers brought kites to India. And now flying kites is a favorite pastime for both children and adults. Yes, 2000 years ago it was started, and the Chinese were the first who fly kites. And after some years, these were the Chinese travelers who brought kites to India. And now in India also, kite flying is a favorite pastime, both the children and the grown-ups. Previously, kites were used for spying in warfare. You know what is the meaning of spy? A person who does something, any activity secretly for someone else. Spy, who gives information about someone else to the others. Previously, earlier, kites were used for spying in warfares, in wars. They were used as spies. How the kites were used as spies? Aeroplanes were not common in those days. Kites with cameras tied to them were sent high in the air to take pictures. As we all know that aeroplanes were not there in the past times. So what was done? Cameras were tied to the kites, and the kites with the tied cameras, they were sent high in the sky, and with the help of that cameras, they take pictures. The aerial photographs would help soldiers find out where the enemy's forces were hiding, and due to the pictures of that cameras, the soldiers, they can come to know where the enemy soldiers, enemy's forces, they are. Some armies used kites as targets for shooting practice, and some army person, they used kites as shooting practice also. As you can see in picture, A soldier is doing practice of shooting and there are kites in the sky. So these were used for shooting practice also. Scientists have used kites to carry instruments high into the clouds. These instruments would measure and record temperature and wind speed. Now the most important thing that is told about the scientists, that scientists were also used kites as instrument. How they use as instruments? They use these kites to measure and record temperature and the speed of wind. You know, see how many uses were there of kites in old times. First, the kites were used as spies. Then cameras were tied to the strings to the kites and they take pictures, and these helped into the soldiers about enemy forces. And scientists also used these to measure the temperature, to the wind speed, and these are used for shooting practice also. So see how many uses were there of kites in old times. Downside you can see the word meanings of the chapter. Tugging means pulling something hard and repeatedly. Dipping, going downwards. Dipping means, as I told you, coming down, and then the kite goes again upside, it moves here and there. Swaying, moving slowly from one side to another side. Unwind, unwind means unders, something that has been wrapped, something that is wrapped to open that thing. Unders. Discover. The blue, the sky. Pastime, something we do for enjoyment in free time. Spying, collecting secret information. Aerial, taken from a height in the air. As the cameras, they were tied to the kites and the kites were sent high, and from that height the cameras, they took pictures. They are called aerial pictures. Targets, targets means objects for shooting. Shooters aim at. Okay, so in today's part we are going to learn up to here only. Rest we will do in second part. I hope you all have understood. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Study well. Stay well.